Welcome to Story Time here at Auto Trader. Join me as I go about 20 years back. I was living in the USA and I'd recently landed there and I was looking for a vehicle. So I set about looking for something a little bit sporty. Single, no kids, youngster, looking for something a little bit flash. I came across a vehicle called the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the second generation Eclipse. The first generation was also known as the Eagle Talon, by the way. But the second generation Eclipse was actually quite a good looking vehicle. The GST and the GSX models were powered by a great engine as well, the Mitsubishi 4G63T. If it sounds familiar, it should. It's because it's the engine that gets found in the Mitsubishi Evo. Well, many of the Evos from the early models up until the 9. I went hunting around for one and I would have loved to have found a GSX version, the one with the all-wheel drive system. But unfortunately it was a little out of my price range. I never did get that Eclipse, and in fact I've never driven an Eclipse up until today. You see, I'm behind the wheel of the new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, and it's an SUV. Yes, sadly, once again, the bottom line dictating that a manufacturer should rather be making SUVs than two-door sports coupes. I can hear the enthusiasts cry from over here. Yes, sad times indeed, when you don't have a single sporty Mitsubishi offering, not locally at least. Where's the Galant? Where's the Lancer? Where are the Evos? Well, we're left with this, and it's the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. Now, my colleague Lawrence tested the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross with its 2-litre engine and sadly walked away saying that, well, it's a great car except for the engine, because the engine is just, well, asthmatic, wheezy, underpowered, way too lethargic for the size of this vehicle. And it is a compact SUV with some interesting styling, which we'll get to in a moment. But let's climb on to the bit that we're really interested in. The big thing that's changed in the car, and that is the engine. The new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross Turbo is, as the name suggests, powered by a turbocharged engine. It is a little down on displacement, coming in at 1.5 litres, and it is a 4-cylinder engine, but it's an all-new engine. It's an aluminium engine, and it's really efficient. In fact, they're claiming 7.7 litres per 100. The power is roughly the same though. They say 110 kilowatts and 250 newton meters. So the torque is up, but the power is roughly the same. So is this just more of the same but with modern turbocharger technology? I don't know. In all actuality, I've had this car for a little while and I'm yet to put my foot down. So I don't quite know how it goes. All right. So let's see what the engine's about. What I do know is that it is mated to a CVT gearbox. It's an 8-step CVT, so it gives the impression of changes, but it's not really changing. It's just creating a little dip in the revs. All right, put our foot down. Let's see what happens. Well, there's a noticeable sort of kick down. There's no real drone. In fact, it changes up, and that, well, that's a great pace. This is a cracking little engine. Well done, Mitsubishi! Slight delay on the kick down, not the end of the world, but I tell you what, the get up and go from 80 to 100 is excellent. This is a gem of an engine. It's actually very quiet as well. In fact, the whole vehicle's very quiet, but I'm going to put that down to Mitsubishi's build quality, which is legendary. I mean, those that have got Pajeros will tell you that they're not going to let go of them, not in a hurry. They're absolutely built to last. And this does feel built to last. Leather-bound steering wheel, lovely touches. The fit and finish is actually fantastic in this. It really is pleasant. It's agreeable. In fact, it's actually likable. I'm still getting around some of the styling cues. So up front, we've got the dynamic shield, which sort of makes known that this is in fact a large Mitsubishi offering. We're going to see it on the likes of the Triton, Pajero Sport, and the ASX. Around the back, things get a little strange. They've got that sort of high brake light that runs sort of between the glass, so you've got this beam in your rear view mirror that you're constantly looking at. But it's the same as the other Eclipse Cross, aside from the little turbo badge. It's not vulgar, it's not unattractive, but it's also not overly inspired. So it's a little bit of wallpaper paste, sadly. There are more exciting vehicles in their range from an aesthetic point of view. This one is actually rather exciting to drive. I'll tell you what, the suspension is very compliant. It's quiet in here. It's comfortable, the seats are luxurious. I do rather like this. One little criticism that I do have though is the boot space. They quote it at 378 litres, but it has a very high floor. And because of the rake of the rear window, you're not going to get overly large, substantial items in there, you know, boxy things like a tumble dryer or a dishwasher. You'll be able to get a couple of bags in there, but you're going to have to play a little bit of Tetris to get them in. But this is largely because it's got a full-size spare wheel, and that takes up a lot of the boot floor. It's not terrible, you can fold the seats down. I think for what we use these type of vehicles for, should be more than sufficient, more than ample. On the safety side of things, the Eclipse Cross Turbo is also nicely spec'd. 7 airbags, a host of driver aids and stability systems, and it gets a very decent Euro NCAP rating. So in short, I really do like the Eclipse Cross Turbo. I don't like the regular one, but this Turbo is something special. It's going to cost you 460,000 Rand. And well, the spec level is really high, so that's fair money. I think it's a definite value proposition because they've really fixed the one Achilles heel of the Eclipse Cross, and that was the engine.